In Revelation 6 through to 8, we see the seals being opened one after the other. One after the other. One after the other. And the earth will see a time like never before. And in Revelation 8, the seventh seal is open, and something strange happens. This is the only time recorded in the Bible where this will happen. All heaven will be in silence. For about half an hour, complete and utter silence. All the innumerable number of angels and the saints of God that are now in heaven will all be silent for half an hour. Why? Because the trumpets are about sounded upon earth, and for 30 minutes all of heaven is silent. And then finally, Revelation 8, verse 2 to 6 reads, "And I saw the 7 angels who stand before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. Then another angel, having a golden censer, came and stood at the altar. He was given much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense, with the prayers of the saints, ascended before God from the angel's hand. Then the angel took the censer, filled it with fire from the altar, and threw it to the earth. And there were noises, thunderings, lightnings, and an earthquake. So the 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound, and the 7 angels will sound each trumpet. And the 7 angels will sound their trumpet one by one, and each trumpet is associated with a major event. This is why all heaven is silent. Heaven knows what the 7 trumpets mean.
There is a sudden and dramatic halt in heaven. Everything stops. Absolutely everything stops. And there is a silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. Revelation 8:1. And when he had opened the 7th seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. I always think about this verse of the Bible and wonder why the whole of heaven will be silent for half an hour. What could cause this silence? What could have happened that would make the angels, the 24 elders, the 4 creatures that surround the throne of God, what could make them silent suddenly? We know what always happens in heaven. The angels and the elders are always praising God and singing worship to Him at all times. And this should cause a loud shout in heaven at all times. Revelation 4:10 through 11 KJV. The 4 and 20 elders fall down before Him that sat on the throne, and worship Him that liveth forever and ever, and cast their crowns before the throne, saying, Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for Thou hast created all things, and for Thy pleasure they are and were created. Heaven is a place where there is a lot of activity. In heaven there are wheels that are spinning, and angels with wings that are flapping. The Bible tells us that heaven is full of choirs and orchestras. Heaven is full of horsemen and chariots of fire. But John said, there is a time coming where there will be silence in heaven for half an hour, where everything will stop. The worship towards God will stop. This is the only time recorded in Scripture where the angels in heaven and the host of heaven didn't worship God because there was silence. This should give us great concern. This should make us think and ask the question, why was there silence in heaven? In Revelation 8:2 KJV, we will see what was about to happen and what made the angels silent. It says, And I saw the 7 angels which stood before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. 7 angels were given 7 trumpets, which they are to blow. 7 different things will happen at the sound of these trumpets. What are these things? What on earth would silence all of the archangels? What will silence every cherubim and seraphim? What will silence all of the redeemed saints? I understand why the 7 trumpets will silence the saints that are in heaven at this time, because the saints have never seen the judgment of God like this before. But what I struggle to understand is how these events will even silence the angels. The angels! The reason why I say this is because the angels have witnessed every calamity that has ever taken place, every natural disaster to ever happen on the earth. The angels have witnessed every earthquake, every hurricane, every tornado. They have seen it all. Every one of God's judgment that has ever happened on earth, they have witnessed. The angels saw the judgment of Adam and Eve when they were driven out of the garden with flaming swords. The angels saw the judgment of Noah's generation with the flood, and high the mighty men ran for the hills and failed. The angels witnessed the judgment of Sodom and Gomorrah, and every earthquake, every hurricane, every tornado, every volcanic eruption, they have seen it all. They are all standing in stunned silence, looking down on the earth. So what is it that stunned all the heaven into silence? I will tell you what it is. Never in the history of all mankind has God unleashed all of his fury at one time. And now, he's about to. And all the inhabitants of heaven see the wrath of God building and building and building as God waits for 30 minutes before he releases it. Revelation 8:2. And I saw the 7 angels who stand before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. Then another angel, having a golden censer, came and stood at the altar. He was given much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne, and the smoke of the incense, with the prayers of the saints, ascended before God from the angel's hand. Then the angel took the censer, filled it with fire from the altar, and threw it to the earth. And there were noises, thunderings, lightnings, and an earthquake. And then we see the trumpets being blown. The first trumpet caused the vegetation to be struck, and 1/3 of the trees were burned up, and all green grass was burned up. The second trumpet caused the seas to be struck. John saw the second angel sounding his trumpet, and something like a great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea. Then the third trumpet caused the waters to be struck. Then the third angel sounded, and a great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch. And it fell on 1/3 of the rivers and on the springs of water. Then the fourth trumpet the heavens struck. Revelation 9:12 reads, Then the fourth angel sounded, and 1/3 of the sun was struck, 1/3 of the moon, and 1/3 of the stars, so that 1/3 of them were darkened. 1/3 of the day did not shine, and likewise the night. 13. And I looked, and I heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe! 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 To the inhabitants of the earth, because of the remaining blast of the trumpet of the 3 angels who are about to sound. Then the 5th trumpet.
And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven onto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God on their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion, when he striketh a man. And in those days shall man seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men, and they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots, of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there was stings on their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue has his name Apollyon. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter.